Chapter 23, The Chainsaw.
The largest account of our company's client, General Motors, was not happy with us. Our service was poor, our products needed improvement, and our revenues were declining. Mario was our chairman's pick to come up to Detroit and fix it. He dressed in expensive suits, cufflinks, and reflective shiny black shoes. He had a short-fit, trim body with affable smile. He was soft-spoken and extremely articulate. I nicknamed him the Chainsaw. Formerly, most everyone else called him Mr. M. I was responsible for delivering all of the information technology services to General Motors vehicle sales service organizations throughout the world. Along with my colleagues who led similar divisions like mine, namely manufacturing, product development, engineering, design, and corporate staffs, had collectively told our boss, Darrell, who reported to Mr. M, that based on the current financial difficulties of our client, we were not going to be able to meet or exceed our targets for that year. Our targets were too high and needed to be lowered. When Darrell delivered this message to Mr. M, the Chainsaw was not happy. He told Darrell, "It looks like your direct reports are managing you and you are not leading. I want to meet with them one by one and make my assessment of their steadfastness. I will show you how to lead." After meeting with each of us division managers, Mr. M created global leadership team and made us each members. In addition, he told Darrell that starting from the month of April to the end of the year, he, Mr. M, would do the monthly financial reviews with each of us. When we heard about that, we almost had a heart attack. At the end of very first global leadership team meeting, we were certain that at least one of us would find a head of a dead horse in our bed the next morning. I got the immortal taste of Chainsaw the following week during my first financial review. I will never forget that experience. Acting confident, I entered Mr. M's big executive office with a wide grin on my face. To my credit, I had every reason to act confident because my division had generated over $500 million in revenue. When I walked into the room, Mr. M was sitting at a fancy round table. Also seated at the table were Mr. M's financial analyst, his corporate attorney, the HR director, and his bagman. None of these individuals were smiling. They were statues who sat there poker-faced. Mr. M got out of his chair and shook my hand. "Hi, Sid. So nice to see you this morning. How is the family? Everyone okay?" Without even caring to hear the answer to these questions, Mr. M proceeded with his intense line of questioning. "I see that according to your outlook, you're not going to make your revenue and unit contribution profit targets for this year," he said as he put his reading glasses on. "Sid, let me ask you this. Is that the best you can do?" "Yes, I'm being realistic, Mario." "Is this the best you're going to do?" he asked me again to make sure. "Yes." "So you are telling me that you, at your best, will not make your targets?" "No, that is not what I'm saying." I felt my lower colon twitch a little bit. "So what are you saying then?" he asked. "What I'm saying is that I'm going to do my best and there is a good chance I will make my numbers." "So it's a matter of chance." "Well, yes. No, what I mean is it's doable. I still have 7 more months remaining in this year." "Good. Therefore, what I hear is that you will be able to make your targets. You are committing to making your targets. Is that what I heard you say? Yes. I felt a drop of perspiration appear like a sunrise on my bald head. It felt as if Mr. M had pulled out a red traffic cone, forcing me to sit on it, and was now pushing me further and further down on the traffic cone after each question. Commitments are promises, and promises are meant to be kept. Are you promising me that you will make your targets and won't let me down? Mr. M asked this question as he took off his reading glasses. I don't know. I'm not sure. You not sure? Oh my God, Sid. We have entrusted you to lead the best of our company's people and to grow the largest revenue and profit division of our company. If you are not sure, then the game is all over. Should I get someone else to run it? Realizing that this train is going south at a rapid speed, I decided to rescue myself. Mario, I can do it. I promise. This response to Mr. M reminded me of a story Jimmy Stewart told Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show. Jimmy Stewart said that during his early days of an actor, the studio asked him if he could ride a horse for a part in a Western film. Although he did not know how to ride a horse, he nonetheless told the studio that he was able to. He figured that it would be 3 months before he would actually have to ride the horse in front of the camera, and this would be plenty of time to learn how to ride a horse. Okay, now let's look at your numbers, said Mr. M, as his financial analyst leaned over and handed him a set of papers. Do you need a break, Sid? Yes. Okay then, you have 15 minutes. I walked out of his office slowly and then instantly ran to the bathroom. My underarms were saturated. Chainsaw was known for his punctuality. 15 minutes meant 15 minutes, not 14, not 16. There is no way of knowing just how far deep the chainsaw would cut if you were the least bit late. I was early by a few minutes when I returned from the break. Mr. M had not yet returned, but the 4 statues were still sitting there, talking about themselves. I turned to the financial analyst at the table. John, numbers are not my strength. I'm counting on your help in this next session. Don't be bashful. Jump in if you see me squirming. I said this in hopes that John would be willing to help me. He knew my numbers because he's the one who prepared them for Mr. M. We are instructed not to help anyone during these meetings, John whispered. Mr. M wants to know if you know your stuff. Now, here he comes. Bend over. How was the break? Asked Mr. M. Quite relieving, Mario. Thank you for asking. My heart started pounding when I realized that Mr. M did not see the humor in my response. Do you know your client's budget? Asked the Godfather as he put on his black-rimmed designer Luxottica reading glasses. Yes, I do, I responded. What % of his budget is spent in November and December? I don't know. I successfully resisted the urge to conjecture. Wait a minute. You just told me that you know your client's budget. Chainsaw was relentless. Mario, you asked me what my client's budget is. It is $520 million. I don't know the percent. I tried not to look argumentative. You can get fired for that. Should you know the percent of the budget that he spends in the months crucial to us? Yes, I should. Now would be a career-defining moment. Then why don't you know? I felt that red traffic cone halfway in. He kept on looking at me as I stared right back. My heart rate picked up as I began to picture myself standing in the unemployment line. Right about then, my higher power interrupted. There was a knock on the door. Julie stuck her head in. "Mr. M, the chairman is on the line for you." Chainsaw signaled us to step out of the office so that he could take the phone call. As we stood outside the door waiting, I did not feel like talking to anyone. Those four statues knew what was going on, and they stared at the ceiling to avoid making eye contact with me. After about 10 minutes, but what seemed more like 10 years, Mr. M on his intercom instructed Julie to send us in. "Where were we?" "Sorry for the interruption, Sid." "Yeah, right. I'm sure he was sorry. In reality, he's probably loving every minute of it." "That's all right, Mario," I said, pretending to be cheerful. "If I were to ask your client about you, Sid, what would he say?" During that 11 minutes, I stood outside his office waiting for him to finish his phone call with the chairman. I had a chance to think about what was going on in my review and what I needed to do to mitigate the damage I may have caused myself. Maybe he already knows the answers because he looked them up before the meeting. Obviously, he's going somewhere with me and he has an agenda. I am lost. I'm playing checkers and he's playing chess. In order to fix that, I need to be playing the same game. I proceeded to answer his question. My client would say that he likes me, but he does not like our company. "That's the wrong answer." Chainsaw scowled. "Your job is to promote our company, not yourself." "Yes, Mario, but under the circumstances, the chances of him liking our performance shrink if he does not like the person that represents the company. So while it is necessary that he likes me, that alone is not sufficient. I know what we have to do. We have to deliver on our promises. And as you know, Mario, I have delivered results in past and will do the same this year." With these comments, I was hoping Mr. M could see my resolve. "Okay, your client told me he likes you," said Mr. M with a smile. "I'm going to count on you to get the revenues we need from him." I now knew that he had already spent time with my client and already knew much more than he led me to believe. In executive lingo, what is not said is often more important than what is said. In that comment, he showed me his card. I read in his comment that he was not going to fire me that day. All he wanted me to do was bring him the profit he needed, help him make his own target at the year end, and then I would be considered worth keeping. That relieved my worries for the day. He was the vice chairman of EDS, a legend in his own right, and he wanted something from me. My job was to make him successful. "How often do you meet with your client?" asked Mr. M. Because he had clearly spoken to my client, I'm sure he already knew the answer. "Once every 2 weeks." "How often does your client cancel meetings on you?" "Once or twice a month." "So in 12 months, you see him less than 25 times. Do you think that is sufficient?" "No," I said. "Yes" would be a wrong answer. I will tell my client that you don't like him canceling my pre-scheduled meetings with him. I know that will light fire under his butt. Chainsaw smiled, and that prompted me to tell him what I thought he wanted to hear. "Mario, next time I see you, I will be better prepared. I will have the details that you want me to know. I will inspire the team, deliver exemplary service, and deliver the value we have signed up for our client. I will meet or exceed our predetermined financial targets. You have my promise. I do not want to waste any of your time today." Just as I said that, I felt like throwing up. I should have. "Okay, Sid, you got it. See you next month." Aha! So what have we learned? Number 1, a charismatic, direct, and blunt high performer boss will make you a high performer, or else you will not be working for him or her. Number 2, it's good to have your butt kicked from time to time. It makes you a much higher achiever in the long run.